Hey, welcome back to another weekly review. Quint, you came back and right immediately, Monday morning, I know you sent out a piece because we had some extreme volatility in the market, specifically in technology, having to do with this new China AI, this whole world of AI that has been dominating the market for the last 2 years. So talk a little bit about that.
It's been a fascinating week, to say the least. And it's, markets are like a whack-a-mole. You don't know what'll pop up and be the news of the day. We have been fixated on interest rates and the Fed and the economy for so long. In fact, yesterday the Fed came out and they kept rates steady, had a press conference, had a release. I mean, the whole 9 yards, and it was like
it didn't happen.
It was second page news.
Right.
I mean, the anchor on CNBC, Melissa, was like, "Hey, oh, that's right, we have the Fed today." I mean, it was hysterical. So the news of the week, as you all know, we sent it out on Monday, first thing Monday morning, because Sunday night during that atrocious Bills Chiefs game,
That was pain for you.
Pain for me. The futures were selling off considerably, and it was because DeepSeek, the Chinese-based AI app, had overtaken ChatGPT. Futures sold off aggressively across the board, not because we had new technology, but because the technology was built with older chips and for much less money.
Fraction of the cost.
And a fraction of the time, which created a question mark regarding all the capital expenditures that are going into the newest chips and the vast expense that it's going to take to create these large language models, which is AI that powers the software developments that we're going to see.
Right.
That's why this week there has been a dramatic shift in the market. If you're not really paying attention, you would look at the S&P, the Dow, and you'd be like, shake on Monday, not really a lot going on. It is red for the week, but, no big deal. Underneath the surface, there is extreme volatility.
Right.
Long-term holders of NVIDIA or some of these other mega cap stocks are not very happy this week because they have been creamed. I mean, not to use a dramatic financial academic term, but they've been creamed.
Right.
And you would think that the market as a whole would be off considerably. I mean, NVIDIA down over 20% in 1 week. You would think the market, the S&P, the NASDAQ would be down 5%.
Right.
It would be a cataclysmic decline. And I thought we were going to see that. But what's fascinating, Logan, and this is so interesting to me, is the money has moved from the hardware space to the software space in a blink of an eye. Now, why? Because even though the idea is maybe it costs less, maybe we don't need all of this money and these new chips, and that's bad for NVIDIA, and that's bad for AMD, and that's bad for some of these hardware companies, but what does it mean? It means that this AI technology can be developed faster and cheaper and get in the hands of software companies that can make applications that you and I can use. I love to poll people. Everybody heard of AI? Yes. Biggest investment theme ever? Yes. Anybody use it? Crickets.
Right.
Other than ChatGPT, like write me a poem for my wife on Valentine's Day. Okay. But is anybody really using AI? And the answer is no. And the reason is we've not seen a lot of development yet in AI. But it's coming, and it's coming fast. So the money has rotated. At light speed, the money rotated and is taken up into other areas that are picking up the slack. And that's exciting. That's exciting to guys like you and I because for the last several years, the S&P and NASDAQ has been the champion. The Mag 7, why buy anything else? Well, finally.
Yep.
Finally, we're seeing money rotate in other areas. We've seen hints of it before, but this time I think it sticks, and it sticks hard. Now, if this is the start of this real rotation, we'll see more volatility.
For sure.
It's not like major institutions have convened and had meetings, and I'm sit on boards of some of these institutions. I know how long some of these portfolio shifts take. They take months.
Right.
So it wouldn't be surprising to me to see more volatility as money starts to rotate into these other areas. But here's a great thing. We're already there. We are in a lot of these other areas, and we've been there for a while. And it's not, crystal ball, oh, yeah, I saw that coming. No, it's just that they have been the undervalued areas, and inevitably, at a certain point in time, stocks become overvalued. They just do. And whether it's news that takes them down, a competitor that takes them down, or people just get old, they get over it. At some point, it doesn't pay to buy overvalued investments. It pays to buy undervalued investments. Yeah. And so, as we wrote about on Monday, we still have some cash. I mean, we've pulled back. We've got it sitting there, and we're waiting for these opportunities, and I think we're finally going to see some really good opportunities in the marketplace.
Yeah, and not to mention, while all of this is going on, we're having earnings that are coming out too. So companies are coming out and reporting their quarterly earnings, and I think it's fascinating to see those big companies that have dominated the market for the last couple of years, their bar is set so high. Now, if you think about it like a long jumper, to get over that really high bar, they have to do a lot. They have to do over and above. You can even have really good numbers and not meet those high expectations. And Microsoft is seeing that today. So
that's right.
We're seeing maybe some rotation to some of the areas that don't have as high of a bar, so their jump looks even more impressive, right? So now we're seeing some of that rotation to some of those other areas, and that's why, although it hasn't been great for the last couple of years maybe, having diversification, at least in the near term, is seeming like a good area to be in.
And not to go down that rabbit hole, but for those of you that are still with us and kind of geek out on this thing, small caps are outperforming. Why? Well, a lot of those industries that we've talked about are in there, but they're also benefiting from the new administration. A lot of energy companies, as interest rates come down, a lot of regional banks, small caps. Guess what? Believe it or not, China, the index and the market is doing exceptionally well, not just on this news that DeepSeek has AI, et cetera, but interestingly enough, and something we've talked about, our administration hasn't come out gunning as much as they talked about. And a lot of those stocks were factoring in massive tariffs, and those aren't being applied. Those areas are boosting the emerging markets. So you have other areas, small, mid, emergings, et cetera, that are doing exceptionally well. Fed, while they didn't lower rates, held rates steady, they were fairly dovish. So dollar down, gold up. Even though we trimmed some gold last year, new highs in gold. So we're seeing other areas. It's paying finally to be diversified, and we like that. We like that. Sure. But make no mistake, I don't think what we saw on Monday is going to go quietly into the night. I still think we'll see volatility and rotation, but it doesn't mean that we're overly bearish and concerned, et cetera. I think there will be opportunities in there, and we've prepared for that.
Yep, excellent. All right, you guys have a great weekend out there. Go Cats.